that's going to have to do because I am running out of time again to meet my deadline, which, thanks to last week's debacle, went from being Mondays at 6 p.m. to Tuesdays at 6 p.m. The original plan was every Monday, and it just didn't get loaded in time. There was all kinds of things going wrong, including our internet connection. And so by the time it was finally loaded and ready to premiere, it was Tuesday, so I set it for Tuesday at 6 p.m. So that's what we're going for, is Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And you don't really care, but there it is. Now, as far as the story of my life, where were we? In my mind, the main thread of my life desires has always been cinema. In reality, it didn't play out that way. I graduated from film school in 1998, and that summer I was able to get a job right away as the drama teacher for a local private Christian school. So for 6 years, I was the drama teacher and the play director. Now, I've always enjoyed live theater as well as making movies. I was in Fiddler on the Roof and Bye Bye Birdie in junior high. I was in a handful of plays at college. And so I was prepared to take on this job. I was not totally lost in the woods. This was not foreign to me. So I did. It meant sidelining my film pursuits for a little bit. But in 2000, my parents, bless their hearts, I will be forever grateful, my parents actually funded my first video camera, a Canon XL1, which was cutting edge when it came out, and a Mac computer, and Final Cut Pro 5 or 6, whatever it was back then, for me to try getting a freelance video production business going, to try getting my film dreams going. So I did start to make some video projects, including a couple of feature-length, no-budget, totally amateur films that I filmed in 2001 and 2002 during the summer with my drama students, any local homeschoolers who were interested. I continued on with the theatrical side when I discovered community theaters. I did not know these existed. I did not know that all across the country there are theaters putting on plays where anybody can go audition. You don't have to be a professional. It's not a job. You go audition for that play and you get a part and you perform in that play for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever that theater's schedule is for how long the run of the play will be. And that became a lot of fun. I did several of those as an actor, and then I did 7 or 8 of them as a director. And I was really enjoying that. Almost to the detriment, or I'll talk about this more next week, but it kind of helped delay pursuing my film dreams, but not completely. Along the way, and this is the part we'll spend most of the time discussing since this is a blog about my film dreams, along the way I have made now a total of 5 short films. Well, I've shot 5 short films. 2 are completely done, 2 just need a little bit of work in the audio, and then one has been sitting on my computer waiting to be edited for 11 years. That's just kind of the way life has been. Let's just take a quick look now. 2007 was my first attempt. So if you're keeping track of the dates, 1998 I graduated from film school after wanting to be a film director ever since I was 13. So I was now 23, I believe. Almost a decade later, I finally got brave enough to try a short film because I am a timid person. You know, what if I fail? What if it just doesn't work out? Do I have the equipment? I mean, for years, I just didn't have the equipment to really make a film. And I came across Videomaker Magazine's annual 5-minute movie contest. I had seen it actually for years because I was a subscriber of the magazine for years. I had seen it every year, but my brain has never had a small idea. I have a bunch of feature film ideas in my head, but never something. 5 minutes, what can you tell in 5 minutes? That year, I said, okay, I've got the equipment. Let's give this a try. And I came up with an idea called Dessert. It's about a bunch of little kids going trick-or-treating. There's a new kid in the neighborhood, and he doesn't know that you're not supposed to knock on one particular door because she's rumored to be a witch that eats children. And I submitted it, and I was happy with it. I was very pleased with it. But it's a magazine that's published in the entire English-speaking world, for all I know. It was open to the world. I didn't expect a thing. I learned that when the next issue came out announcing that it was entries were closed, I was up against 175 other entries. Thought nothing will come of it. So I was shocked and stunned and flying high when I got the phone call saying I was basically third place out of everybody. We then made, I and anybody who wanted, made another one almost within a year after that, based on O. Henry's short story called Mammon and the Archer. And I have no production shots of that whatsoever, just clips from the film itself. Lots of fun with a good friend of mine who was actually in a play with me when we were both in community theater. Actually, a couple different people. Yeah. And that one has gone over real well. That's the one where I haven't actually finished the music score, so I need to get on that. That is now almost 2 decades old, and the cast has never seen an official finished version. We had a cast party, but the music that was in it was borrowed from my vast collection of soundtracks from Hollywood. So that was followed almost immediately after by a third one called Animals. That was going to be another entry in the 5-minute movie contest, only for me to discover that the year I entered was the last year they were going to do it. They decided we're done. So I have a third short film that's about 5 minutes long, but I didn't worry about squeezing the editing into exactly 5 minutes or less. Then I took a break, and honestly, I do not remember why. It may have been because I just started getting more involved in the community theater. I don't remember the timeline, but it was about 5 years before I decided to try another short film. And so I got some people together. We created one called Dumb Jocks, and it's basically a skit. There isn't really a plot. It's a bunch of muscleheads at a gym, and we go totally against the stereotype that muscleheads know nothing. They start having a very deep, intricate, argumentative, philosophical debate right there in the gym. We spent 13 hours, one long night, at a local gym where I'm friends with the owner. He let us in, said, sure, go ahead and do that. And had a good time doing it. Had a very good time doing it, even though by the time it was done, I don't think any of us could think straight. That one I submitted to a film festival over in Portland, a very small one. Took place in a brew pub in a back room where they had a movie screen. There were 10 entries, so it wasn't like a 70, 80, 90, 100 film festival that takes place over 2 weeks. One night, 10 films, and mine got audience choice. So I am, technically, a 2-time prize-winning film director. I'd say award-winning, but that sounds pretentious. And then the 5th film, which is still on the editing block, is called Men with Guns. Yes, I shot it 11 years ago, and ever since then, there's always been something in the way of my just sitting down, hammering this thing out, and getting it out to the cast. But I really want to do that this year, because otherwise, who's going to trust me to actually finish the next thing I ask them to help with? So I will be getting on that, finishing that soon, even as I try to work on the feature film that I have already commenced. And that brings us up to February 13th, 2018, which will require its own entry. I'll see you next week on Brian's Big Movie.
All right, good deal. Thank you, guys.